I've survived with love. My mother, sister, and I, we survived with love, with compassion, and love for humanity, and joyful life.
Right.
My mother, not my sister, and I more so. And life should be lived joyfully. And I have to believe. I have to believe that there is goodness in us. I have to believe that, it is devastating to see that Darfur's happen.
Yes.
And as long as Darfur happens, and as long as there are people who are saying the Holocaust never happened, in some ways Auschwitz and Majdanek are still with us.
Right.
And it is the museum, like the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum,
Yes.
and the Illinois Museum, Holocaust Museum and Education Center,
Yes.
that prove that history always remembers, and we must listen if civilization is to progress.
Right.
It does not take long at all. We have to be reminded from time to time what can happen to civilization and to us, and what can happen to the conscience of a nation, what can happen to love and trust
Yes.
in a very short time.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, we must remember, and I guess, do you remember when you were going through your story? Do you remember, like, for example, when you said they brought everybody, the deportation, they brought us to the ghetto? Do you remember the moment, the day?
I remember everything as clear as day. I no longer remember where I last put my glasses, but I remember clear as glass the events that destroyed my sunny childhood and turned
Right.
my life into an inferno and killed nearly everyone I knew and loved.
Right. Yeah, of course you remember. And you think if your mother and yourself didn't switch places to go with your sister when they called her name, you don't think you would have survived?
Yeah, I mean, one cannot,
Right.
but there are hardly any people who survived Maidan,
Yeah.
because we were actually waiting until there was room in the guest chamber, or they were keeping us stored in the barracks
Right.
until room was made for us to be guests.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I describe so many events that that it was more random luck than wisdom or anything else that accounted for our survival. For instance, in the Warsaw Ghetto, during the deportations, within between July 1942 and September 1942, a mere 3 months,
Right.
99% of the Jewish children disappeared. I was among the 1% of the children still alive. It's mere luck. Of course we hid, but others were hiding too and were dragged out. I don't remember when the deportations began. Smaller numbers of people were deported daily, but towards the end, I think as many as 20,000 people a day were deported to death.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard to imagine
Right.
that people who loved their parents, who loved their children and their sisters and brothers, could be so savage.
Right. It is hard, difficult to imagine.
Yes.
Yes. So when you said we hid, but it was luck. Did you? Was it intuition to hide, or was it your parents telling you you need to hide?
Oh, we hid. It was a decision.
It was a decision.
Yes.
Okay.
They promised that if we would report, that we would be resettled.
Oh, I see.
And if we were caught hidden, they would chop us to pieces. And they came with big loud speakers and they made it clear. But I think we just were not going to report and follow the orders.
Right.
So
hid.
people hid in the most ridiculous places. In a way, the hiding places were no different than where children that I play with my grandchildren.